exchange-traded products. Shanali Bassick still with us here in our New York studios. We're also in conversation with Keely Lyons and Eric Balchunas. Shanali, I mean, there's going to be a lot of speculation as to what happened, what didn't happen. At the end of the day, they still have to make a decision, or at least the anticipation is they have to make that decision. Do you think we're going to see anything materially different, maybe in 24 hours' time, than what we saw just over the last 20 minutes?
And I had the same thought. The fact that there was this kind of a mistake, until we know where the mistake came from, can the SEC then move forward and say, okay, we can rightfully still approve this in that deadline? They could always punt, right? They could always push it as they have before. They could also deny applications. They could ask for more information, as we've seen last-minute amendments to the filings just this morning. Now, the idea of the market here, and you saw the reaction and pricing of Bitcoin, was that those amendments, those quick movements, were the SEC trying to move forward and get this page cleared and get past this moment so that, you know, we can get these things approved with certainty now that there are so many issuers. But does this change the equation? We don't even really know how this compromise, as Gary Gensler called it. Remember, think about just the influence that X, or previously Twitter, has had on financial markets alone in the last several years, and the fights that the SEC has had over this type of these type of issues and disclosures. Was it a breach? Was it not a breach? Right? I mean, they need to at least provide some clarity.
Well, they need to provide clarity. I mean, you can't. I mean, if you believe the idea that approving these things somehow provides greater oversight, greater transparency, and this is the rollout, whether it was intentional, whether it was some fat finger thing or whatever, it's not a good look one way or the other.
Someone's trolling the SEC.
It's not a good look for SEC. It's certainly not a good look for X. I don't know why anybody's there.
Rally in Bitcoin we saw last year and into this year is this idea that an ETF could bring in a new wave of investors, big institutional investors as well. And it's a similar narrative we heard when Bitcoin futures hit the market a few years ago. But why is this? We didn't really see that materialize in a big way with futures. Is this any different?
Well, the problem with the futures is it resets every month. And so when you look at the fee structure and the rollover, effectively you're paying a very high fee for exposure to Bitcoin. With the spot ETF, you have a number of advantages. One is very low fees. Compared to GBTC, for example, the 2% fee they charge today will now go down substantially if they have to compete with other funds that are charging 20 basis points, 40 basis points, compared to the 200 basis points they're charging. An interesting subtlety that most people don't get is GBTC has to sell about $200 million worth of Bitcoin a year to cover their fee, which now they would not have to do. So there'll be a little bit less supply in the marketplace, which would help the price. But essentially, the ETF really provides access to institutional investors, retirement accounts, you know, the many trillions of dollars that are locked up. Potentially a small little allocation to Bitcoin will happen, and because there's only a finite number of Bitcoin, most Bitcoin is locked up in long-term holders. There's very little liquidity in the Bitcoin market. It's really only about 2 million Bitcoin a day are traded. So we believe the ETF will only be positive.
And Fred, just moving topic to another big event for the industry, and that is the
Tuesday evening, when a post on the SEC's official X account claimed that Bitcoin ETFs were approved. Chair Gary Gensler swiftly responded, saying that the account was compromised and the regulator has not approved any listing and trading of spot Bitcoin ETFs. So here's with what this means ahead of today's decision is our very own Julie Hyman. Hey, Julie.
Ooh, hey, I was on the air yesterday when this happened, right? When we first got this tweet, looked very official from the official SEC account, and then about 15 minutes later from Chair Gensler's own account, him saying that that other account had been compromised. It was an unauthorized tweet, and their post.
I already show the Bitcoin price on the SEC, depend on the SEC, because Bitcoin price is like down by SEC approval ETF. So right now Bitcoin price is like 45,336.5. So you see that I already show the all kind of news. So it's only depend on the SEC, because SEC approval is doesn't execution. So that's why Bitcoin price is going down. But it's not about the like lowest price. Is maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow is going up. So let me show you something on the analysis, my analysis. Okay, so if I see the 15 minutes chart is already below the 200 EMA, but what about the 30 minutes? 30 minutes is show that like almost 200 EMA. Almost 200 EMA. If I show that like 1 hour, what about the 1 hour? 1 hour is still show the sale. So is depend on the like SEC. If SEC approve the Bitcoin, so it's going up as soon as possible. It's maybe 100,000 or like above 100,000. So most of the analysts show that is maybe 150,000 next 2024. So if I see the if I show the all kind of analysis, it show that right now is Bitcoin is like 45,352. Okay, so average through range is show that 48,100. If it is 100% change is like 48,684, and if it is 50% ATR is 50% is 47,549.3442. So it's depend on the actually what is the next SEC approved or not. If it is SEC approved, is going up as soon as possible. So most of the investor is also watch the news about the SEC approval. So this is the thing. So always think about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going long term, going up in long term, a long term situation. But if it is short term, is going maybe down, but not that much, like 40 like 45 or 40 or some 40,000, not below the 40,000 or something like that next 1 or 2 months. Okay, so by next time I show you the what the PP analysis. Okay, see you, bye.